Hey everyone, Nick Berlin with Berlin Builds. Today I'm going to show you how to put on these dummy knobs. I'm going to go off of the center of the mullion, that's right here. So what I need to do is find the center point between here and then do a level line across. Sometimes the height of your doors might be a little off. You can see I'm really flush right here. If you go off of just the door slab, then you might have one doorknob that's up a little higher than the other one. So once I find my point on one, I'm going to draw a level line across to make sure that they stay exactly the same with each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of tape that's a little too long. I want it to fit in between here. And just, you don't need to push it on super tight, but just get that pressed. And then I can also kind of just eyeball what the center is going to be roughly here. I'm going to take a piece of tape and put it there. And then you can do two pieces of tape or you can just do one, and I'm just gonna cut the tape so that way I can open up the doors if I need to while I'm working. What I've done is I found the center point between here. In my case, it's 3.5 inches minus a 32nd of an inch. And then what you can do is once you've marked it, let's say you're marking from the top down, so I'm gonna line up my tape on the 10 and come down, so I'm 3.5 minus. Then what you can do to double check that is go up from the opposite direction, just line everything up, and it's the same. If it's the same both ways, you're right in the center. So that's always good. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a level. And you can see that my doors aren't totally flush right here. There's a little bit of a bow. So I'm gonna keep it all on this side for right now. I'm going to strike a level line from that center point. Take your time on this. Accuracy is going to pay itself off and make you a happier camper than if you're not accurate. And now I can transfer that same level line onto this slab. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna find the center point on this stile. So we're gonna go from here over. I've got this handy little speed square. It's right on at 4 1/16, which means my center point is gonna be 2 inches plus a 32nd. So I can actually mark that right here. And then I can do the same thing on the other door slab right here. So I'll go 2 inches plus a 32nd. So on this knob, you got the 2 points where your screws go in, right? So what I need to do is find out how far from the center each of those are. So I love this speed square. I'll put a link in the description so you guys can buy it if you want online. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line it up with the 1 inch mark in the center of the hole. And just be very precise with these. And now I can go over here, so that's 1 inch. And then that's a half. Oh, sorry, I'm over here. Going in the wrong slot. Be very careful, make sure you're doing it right. So 1 inch, and then there's another half, and then kind of 5/8 plus. So 1 inch and 5/8 plus is my distance between these two different holes. So what I need to do is split that in half, and then once I know what that half mark is, I'll go from here over, and then I'll have 1 inch and 5/8 between my two new points. So I've done the math, and it's right about 13/16 of an inch over from that center point to where I need to drill those holes. So what I can do, one great thing about this square is I can push it up right here, and it has the 16ths marked. So I can come over here to 13/16, make my caret. Same thing right here. And then I'll come over here. I can do the same. So I'm gonna drill a couple pilot holes, and so I've got the screws that are gonna hold it in. And line it up with your drill bit. You wanna be just a little bit smaller with your drill bit than your screw. If you do too small a pilot hole, these are a little bit of a bear to get on. But before we actually do that, it's good to just line everything up and make sure it looks right. Because looking right is actually the right answer as opposed to technically being perfectly level and everything. If it looks wrong, even if it's right, it's gonna look wrong. So just make sure you got everything where it needs to be. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill a couple pilot holes. Okay. Now the pilot hole's done, it's time to lose the tape. Now, different dummy knobs will work differently. Some of them will actually have these little knobs that are right here, and you can take the actual knob off and just mount the bracket. That's the easiest way. This one doesn't have that, unfortunately. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put the screw in, take a long handle screwdriver. If you use your impact driver here, you can scratch up your knobs. I have to be really careful. So I'm just gonna go like this, and I'm going to line my screw up in the pilot hole that we drilled. And I'm gonna give it a few turns so it'll hold everything. And now, I'll go for the other side. Like this. Get everything lined up with the pilot hole there as well. And now all I do is just carefully screw everything in. And once they're both on, you just sit back and admire your work. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.